to In Dark Places, the Quicker Picker-Upper, episode 28. It's been a while since we've done a crossover episode, so we have Mr. Seth here. Again today we're doing another crossover episode between In Dark Places and Seth's Daily Podcast. Some of the material is a little repetitive from past episodes of In Dark Places, so I'm going to edit some of those parts out, but you can check out the full episode over on Seth's Daily Podcast. I'll put a link in the description. We have a couple of items in the news, so let's check that out. This is from brobible.com on September 30th. A pair of Bigfoot spotted entering coal mine in the mountains of northwest Kentucky. A new Bigfoot sighting occurred recently near a coal mine in the northwest mountains of Kentucky. One expert on the subject says there have been numerous reports of Bigfoot sightings in the area, and even went out to visit the area and investigate it further. This latest Bigfoot sighting occurred in a location in Kentucky where one expert with over 20 years experience on the subject says is no doubt home to Bigfoot.
The person who I will not name that saw these two Bigfoot go into the mine is a really good guy and is not a storyteller,
said Thomas Markham of the Crypto Crew in his report.
He has not told but a handful of people about what he saw. This man is a friend of mine and our family. Just, I don't get to talk to him very often. Once I got the location details, I used Google Maps to kind of scope out the area and get a direction I wanted to explore first. I missed my mark and had to backtrack for about a mile or more. I did finally find the location.
Markham continues.
These tracks, while lacking a lot of definition, were larger and much wider than my size 12 boot. These were in a straight line with the exception of one track at the top of the bank. This could have been a slight sidestep to maneuver over the hump in front of the mine opening. I don't know. This opening may be used more at different times of the year. It's just hard to say. I do know that Bigfoot is smart enough to know when an area has increased human activity in it. So maybe this time of year they use this opening less. Right now we have people ginseng hunting, squirrel hunting, and deer hunting. But even with all that, this area does not see a high volume of people in it, due to it being a rough area and you have to walk. You can only take an ATV a short ways, and then it is on foot or you don't go. What is important, and I feel really backs up this report, is the fact that there has been other sightings and reports from this general area. In fact, just across the hollow from the coal mine is where I found the tree breaks and recorded the wood knock just a few days ago.
Markham's quite the talker. He also points out that there was also a recent Bigfoot sighting on another ridge across from the coal mine, and is the same area where Bigfoot tracks have been discovered before. He concludes that
this area is no doubt home to Bigfoot.
And he says he knows
for a fact there are several different groups of Bigfoot
in this area. Charlie Raymond, the founder of the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization, reported in 2020 that the state is third in the country for the most Bigfoot sightings.
I have seen and found things that most people will never see or find,
says Markham.
This is your In Dark Places news correspondent, Mr. Haunted, with breaking news. Last week, an Indiana man was arrested after he repeatedly called 911 just to tell dispatchers he was tired. Daniel Schroeder, 61, called the emergency line 4 times in one day to share his exhausting news. Police reports say a male caller kept calling in stating he's tired. It's not the first time this man has misused the emergency system. He previously called earlier that month and received a 6-month suspended sentence on the condition that he refrained from bothering the dispatchers. After the sentencing, the suspect broke the agreement the very next day and will now reportedly serve 60 days in jail. I'm picturing the scene, bunch of guys sitting together in jail. What you in for? Assault and battery? How about you? Burglary? How about you sitting over there? I was tired. That's this week's news. I am Mr. Haunted, back to more In Dark Places.
So now here's my conversation with Seth on Seth's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Seth's Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. This is a crossover episode with In Dark Places. Host, Junebug, how are you doing tonight, man?
Howdy. What's going on, brother?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good.
Man,
Just enjoying the rainy day.
vacation.
Yeah, kick back and take it easy. I'm trying to get junk done around the house that I wanted to do on my last vacation and never did get around to. And it's looking like I'm not going to get to this time either because it's supposed to rain every day this week.
Wow. Seems about right.
Man, can't win.
Definitely not. Especially with COVID going on, stuff like that. Oh, God. Anyways,
We've
man,
been shorthanded at work. People calling in sick and junk from COVID, and people been having to do 3 or 4 jobs at once. It's been a mess.
wow, man. There's definitely is a work shortage for sure.
Yeah, people be gone a couple weeks at a time out sick and junk. Just about
Oh, wow.
every department where I work is they've all been shorthanded and nobody to fill in.
Wow. That's
Everywhere you
definitely
look is hiring and nobody wants to work nowadays.
No.
It's funny. I
No.
saw there's a gas station over here said work today, get paid today. I was like, man, they must be hard up.
Work today, get paid today. That's a good slogan right there. Seems like an Eastern Kentucky slogan would be work today, get tobacco today,
Yeah.
or something like that. People would work for their cigarettes and tobacco. But man, I know you've been getting a lot of UFO reports. Do you believe it's because people were doing what you guys doing what you guys advise them to do and look up?
It could be. I think where a lot of people's just out of work right now and junk, more people having more time on their hands. They're looking up in the sky for a change. We got a couple of good reports here a week or so ago. It's been kind of slow though recently. Like the last 6 months or so, we've not been getting a whole lot, but we got a couple of good ones last week. I got one from Pikeville, Kentucky, just the other day on September 23rd. I wanted to tell someone something odd in the sky over the industrial park here in Pikeville, Kentucky this morning. I've never seen anything like this before. I was coming up a foggy mountain in Shelby Valley this morning at about 8 a.m. and I saw this white or silver shape hovering in the air. It kind of looked like a buoy you would see in a lake. And then it slowly lowered itself behind the trees. I could see the reflection of the sun on the side of it. It was there, and before I could get my phone out to get a picture of it, it was gone. I went over to Pikeville to investigate the area a couple hours later, but whatever was there was long gone by the time I got there. I didn't see anything.
Oh, did you tell Goose and them about it?
I messaged Goose, yeah. I told him about it on Facebook.
That's awesome, man.
He was at work that day. I was going to try to get him to go over with me. Like, come on, man, we're going to investigate this thing. But he had to work.
That's awesome, man. the people are reporting more sightings to you now and stuff, man. That's definitely cool, and it's close by too, man. I mean, Pikeville's close to me, an hour and 2 minutes, literally, and then it's literally like 20 some minutes for you, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm just a hop and a skip from where I go there all the time. It's funny that one was so famous there over Virgie, Kentucky. It was visible over several states back in 2012. All the YouTube videos stuff said it was the Virgie, Kentucky UFO, but it was actually over most of the eastern seaboard. They saw it down as far into Georgia, so that thing was really high up in the sky. Google tried to take responsibility for that, said it was like an internet balloon, and no, it's not.
They always try to do that, though.
Used to be a weather balloon back in the 40s and 50s. Now they're going to say it's an internet balloon.
What's the difference? Oh man, did you get any reports of that here in Knott County, of that same one seen in Virgie? Or
I don't remember right off. I don't believe so. But we had some up in New York. They saw it. North Carolina, South Carolina. It was all over the place. People, I bet there was probably like 50 different people reported that one. And that's what got my UFO group started, the Appalachian UFO Research Society. Me and Kyle Lovren started that up on that day whenever those reports started coming in. Like, heck yeah, good time to be a UFO hunter.
Absolutely, man. And I actually got a story. I don't know if you've heard of this one, but here on the show, I've been doing UFO stories, and I'll read the ninth one out of the 15 here in Kentucky. And this one is out of Paris, Kentucky, and it was in October the 20th of 2012. It was a daytime sighting. Do you hear that a lot, or not really?
They're more common than people would think. It's kind of odd. Usually they tend to be more associated with nighttime sightings. You can see the lights and stuff, but we get quite a few daytime sightings. And that date is just a week after the one that was famous from Virgie, Kentucky. So that's kind of weird. That was on October 13th of 2012. So wow. This one is the 20th.
Yeah. Have you heard of this one?
I don't believe so.
All right. There's actually a video. I will send you the video.
Cool.
Through Messenger. And I mean, if you want to I know you add the video sometimes on your screen on your podcast and stuff. So yeah, man, cool. If you want to, heck yeah, man. I think it's on YouTube. But here's what it says. It's not that. It's like one paragraph, literally, of reading. But it says this UFO was recorded over Paris, Kentucky, in October of 2012. Well, that's the obvious. In a mutual UFO network, MUFON. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I used to be a part of that organization, and I got out of it. I was one of their field investigators, MUFON. They are based out of Pennsylvania, and I think they started up back in 1980 or so, but I could be off on that. But I was a field investigator with those guys for like 4 years during the time of while I was doing the Appalachian UFO Research Society too. Just like I quit back in 2017, I think it was. It's not been real long ago.
The witness stated that he also observed nearly a circular patch of ground approximately 14 feet in diameter where the grass was dead. The soil was discolored and there was a strange orange tint to the rock in the center. That's all it says. Do you hear the orange tint and rocks where there's a UFO sighting a lot? Or
not a whole lot, no. But like the dead grass and stuff, that is that's pretty common around like the crop circles and things like that. I got a report. My first one with MUFON was a guy. Let's see, he was up around Nitro, West Virginia, and he would spend a lot of time out on the river fishing. And one day he was out by this little swampy area, just kind of getting him something to drink or whatever. And he looked, and there was a big patch of dead grass in a circular pattern over to his right. And he always thought it was weird. He'd went by there every day and he never saw it before until that one day, and then it was just suddenly there. So he kept seeing it every time he'd go back, and then he said it was there like even a couple of years later. It never did, grass never did grow back there for some reason. And I talked to him on the phone. That was a real good report, but I never did get up there to actually see it myself.
Oh man, there's definitely a lot of UFO reports, and I know that you and Kyle are getting the you guys are the top researchers here in the Appalachian Mountains for sure, man. I mean, there's people all over the Appalachian Mountains reporting them to you.
Yeah, I think we got 4,000 followers on Facebook now. I think it's right around there, and we get a lot of reports. So people down in Georgia, we like to go out, like the ones locally here. We'll go out and check those out, but it's hard for us to get time to get away from here down in Tennessee or anything like that. But we get reports from all over like that.
Absolutely, man. That's definitely awesome, though, that people from other states are reporting sightings to you.
Here is the report that we got from Memphis, Tennessee, back in 2005. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee from 1986 until 2009. My residence for all 23 plus years was at the same address, which is a corner lot on the southwest corner of Perkins Road and Wooddale Avenue. Wooddale runs east and west, and Perkins runs north and south. The house I lived in was 4.4 miles directly east from the airport. This is important because planes only fly east and west past my house, either taking off or landing. Additionally, being this close to the airport, planes came in at low altitudes, low enough that identifying the airline by the colors and logos on the plane was easy. It should be noted, too, that the planes were audible, loud enough to hear them from inside the house. The front door of the house faces north, as does the garage door. This means when a vehicle pulled in the driveway, which was directly in front of the garage, like most houses, the car would be facing south. And now to the story. It was mid to late 2005 and a completely normal day. The occurrence had to have been in the early to mid-afternoon, as the sun was out and bright, maybe partly cloudy at most. I was pulling into the driveway facing south. I did not park in the garage because it was filled with clutter. I get out of my car, and out of the corner of my left eye, I see an object in the sky flying south, directly over Perkins. I walked in my garage and was just about to close the door when this registered. With that, I was so thrown off that I walked back outside and looked into the sky. Clear as day, I observed 5 white lights in a V formation, slowly flying south, just a bit higher than the planes that fly east and west in front of my house. There was absolutely no sound coming from the craft. As I watch, I'm in awe. Then all of a sudden, it takes off at what I can only describe as warp speed, gone in an instant. I personally think it was one craft, as when it took off, all 5 lights in the V formation appeared to merge together, and then, like I said, took off at warp speed. I immediately ran inside screaming to get my mother's attention. I tell her what I just witnessed. She smiled and laughed a bit. Immediately, I knew that people are going to think I'm crazy if I tell this story. A couple nights ago, I watched the show UFO on Showtime. It depicts exactly what I saw that day in 2005. This got me curious. I decided to do some research in an attempt to find out if anyone else from Memphis witnessed what I did and if they reported it. I found an article that states that between 2004 and 2005 that nearly 100 Tennesseans reported seeing UFOs. It's on actionnews5.com. I'll put a link in the description. I'm not looking for any kind of anything. I just wanted to finally report it in some fashion to someone that might take it seriously. This is a flashbulb memory, right up there with 9/11. I'll never forget it. So if anyone else out there saw what our witness saw in the Memphis area, then we'd love to hear your story.
Wow, that's definitely that's crazy story, man. What's the craziest story? Have you heard of that story in Moorhead, Kentucky? It might have been your podcast where I heard that story where a woman was screaming and she was never seen again going into a UFO.
Yeah, it's wild. That was in my buddy Kyle's book. He talked about the screaming woman in Moorhead.
Have you ever heard any other stories like that?
I hear a lot of Bigfoot related stories with the screaming type sound on like a Bigfoot call would sound like a woman screaming sometimes. People tend to associate that with a lot of Bigfoot activity.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories of Bigfoot like going into actually like a UFO. There's a lot of people that report seeing that. I personally don't believe that you're going to see Bigfoot and aliens going down to Burger King in the UFO.
This thing's kind of odd, don't it? But there've been a lot of reports of that, though. They'll see Bigfoot. Stan Gordon's had a bunch of reports on those up in Pennsylvania. People calling UFO sightings. They look, and there's a couple Bigfoot just running around out in the cornfield. It's weird. It makes you wonder if it's all intertwined.
They could be aliens. You never know.
Yeah, it could be just here checking out the scene.
Well, they definitely do more than check out the scene. They eat everything in the world.
I heard some tree knocks up in the hill here behind my house a couple weeks ago. I think it was. I was out looking for my cat. Hadn't seen him all day, and I got home from work or where I was at late one night, and I was looking for the cat. And I was out in the backyard hollering, trying to get him to come in, and I heard a tree knock just like as soon as I hollered. And I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of weird. And then like 2 or 3 seconds later, there was another tree knock higher up on the mountain. Okay, I see what's going on here.
It's giving you a warning.
Yeah, I just went on back in the house then.
Yeah, definitely don't want to encounter a Bigfoot, especially at night.
My cat came home though, so he didn't end up being their late night snack or anything, so he's fine.
I'm glad Bigfoot didn't get your cat, man. See, man, that might prove the fact what Bigfoot researchers said that there are some Bigfoot researchers said there's good, evil, and just decent Bigfoot. Like just like there is humans. I think that might have been Earl.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Kind of depends on what kind of mood they're in that day. If you never know, somebody might have been shooting at them earlier in the day, so then they take their aggressions out on the next person. So they saw a mean Bigfoot. But I tend to think that they're pretty much just kind of peaceful, unless you get into their turf, get around their kids or whatever. They kind of get aggressive.
Yeah, I don't want to find that out though. Don Neal has some very interesting stories about Bigfoot, man. That guy gets so many reports. I mean, that guy is one of the most credible Bigfoot researchers out there. Yeah,
he's a good one. I like hearing his stories.
Absolutely, man. He's honestly the most interesting Bigfoot researcher to hear talk in the interview and stuff. I mean, honestly, he's one of the best Bigfoot researchers in the world.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Absolutely, man. We're definitely been blessed to have him on 3 times now. And he will be on in November as well, so definitely look forward to that. I don't know if people know this, but all October we're doing cryptid stuff on the podcast and stuff. We're going to talk UFOs, Bigfoot, whatever, man. Mothman, everything. Ghost. We just had a ghost hunter on last night.
Yeah, now's the time for the spooky stuff around Halloween. People get really into that stuff. That's cool.
Actually, I thought about doing it more often than doing like other types of podcasts like music and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Once you get into it, you can go down a lot of different rabbit holes and
the rabbit holes.
Hear all kinds of different stories and stuff. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And now here's Mr. Haunted with his second installment of Cryptid Corner.
This is Mr. Haunted with this week's Cryptid Corner. This week we're going to talk a little bit about the beach walker, also known as the shore laddie. The beach walker is a ram-sized creature found along the coasts of the fjords of Iceland. The beach walker has brownish-gray fur from which mussels and barnacles grow, a feature that lends it a distinctive jingle when it walks. Thus, an unwary traveler may be alerted to the presence of one of these beasts. The beach walker has been reported as having both webbed feet and hooves, although which version is the most accurate is still up for debate. Some believe the beach walker is actually the Montauk monster or related to it. It's believed to be a herbivore, but it's also claimed to feed upon sheep and women, especially pregnant ones. The shore laddie, or beach walker, is the most commonly cited cryptid in Iceland. The beach walker is said to at times act aggressively, while other reports state that it flees into the sea on those rare occasions that it is spotted by human observers. There's your Cryptid Corner for the week. Now back to In Dark Places.
What's the scariest story that you've heard about a ghost, or your experience? What's your scariest experience with a ghost?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those guys around. I can't think of any right off that anybody else has told me. A friend of mine was delivering supplies into the old hospital here. He heard some weird noises, and I think like a glass breaking and stuff like that, and he was the only one there. So that's pretty freaky. We've had my grandpa, he saw some crazy stuff in his time too. He was in an old house he used to live in here in Williamson, down in the upstairs. He was home alone one day. He would always hear like all the bedroom doors slamming and stuff upstairs. Well, all of them, my mom and my uncles and everybody, they would all hear that stuff from time to time. The doors from the bedrooms upstairs would be slamming. And he was there by himself one day, and somebody just like said upstairs, and we all said, "Well, what did you do then, Papa?" And he said, "I went upstairs."
I would too.
He's seen some wild stuff down there at my dad's house. He's got just ghosts constantly down there. We hear stuff every day down there.
Wow. Have you ever heard any voices there?
Yeah, fairly often hear people talking and stuff down there. You never really can make out the words. You can just hear like a couple voices. Crazy. It'll sound like it's just coming from inside the walls. You can't really tell which room it's coming from or anything. It just kind of like echoes through the whole house.
Wow.
And you can hear like their voices, but you never can really make out any words of what they're saying.
Does it happen at the same time, like every day?
Different times. It's kind of random. Sometimes it'd be late at night, sometimes in the daytime. Before my mom died, she heard stuff all the time. Like my dad would go to work, and my sister would be out with her friends or whatever, and I think I was in college at the time and stuff. Mom would just lay down, try to take a nap, and they would wake her up every day, knocking on the windows and stuff. She would get mad. Stupid ghost woke me up again this morning.
That would definitely be a very weird way to wake up, to a ghost waking you up. But that sounds more like an intelligent spirit, man, because residual happens the same time every second. Like, say you see like a mist every day at like 3 p.m. Like at this one place, my cousin's house, there would be a mist that would walk through the hallway and go into the bathroom every night at 3 a.m. That's residual haunting.
That would be pretty scary to see.
I've seen it every night that I would stay there.
That's wild. Yeah, it's the ones down there at my dad's house. They're definitely not residual type at all.
Have you ever smelled like perfume or anything?
Yeah, I've smelled different smells and stuff like that too. Crazy. Like I think maybe like my aunt or something like that. Like it had like her type of perfume. And I would smell it like she had walked into the room and stuff. It's just weird.
Wow, that's definitely there's definitely something there, man. And have you heard like music just play out of nowhere, like random music?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. We'll just be in watching TV or something, and we can hear in the hallway just sound like somebody in there having church or something. You can just hear like drums and tambourines and everything pounding away in there. What? Where was this? And won't be any other TVs on or radio or anything like that. It just kind of disappear whenever you walk into the room.
Wow, that's definitely some intelligent presence for sure, man. I mean, sounds like that's a very active place too.
Yeah, it's crazy down there. I've tried to record stuff a million times, and they never want to be on any kind of recordings. I guess they always shy away from that stuff. But we had a house fire in 2009, and me and my wife had to go in there, and we lived with my parents for a while. My mom was still alive at the time, and the first day of the fire, we had woke up that morning down there at my dad's house, and I heard harp playing just like it was right up over top of me, just strumming away on a harp. And it woke me up. I was like, what in the world? And I closed my eyes back and then just started getting even louder. I was like, man, what is this? We hear some crazy stuff down there.
Wow, man. Was it an old church that used to be there?
I don't believe so, but it could have been. It was built back in the 60s. It could have been like at the time they might have had like funerals and stuff in there at the time, because a lot of the old timers in Appalachian would do that. They would just have funerals right there in people's houses.
Yeah, man, that's definitely insane. I mean, the fact that you hear music, man, that's what you usually hear with a very active place. I mean, you probably have more than 4 or 5 spirits there. There's probably up to like 15 or 20.
Yeah, I would say so. I've seen a few of them. There was one I thought was my mom one time. There was a meteor shower, and I was standing out in the yard to see the meteor shower. And I turned around, just kind of felt like somebody was looking at me, and how you can kind of have that little feeling that somebody's staring at you and stuff. I turned around, and there was a woman standing at the kitchen door just looking out at me. And I just saw like the silhouette because I was out in the dark. And she just kind of turned and walked back through the house. So I thought maybe my mom was just checking on me or whatever, being out there in the yard, because it was cold in the wintertime. So I figured she was checking on me, and I went in the house. What's up? Did you need something? She said, I didn't. I wasn't up. I was sitting there watching TV.
Wow, man. I've had a mist go through my hand actually outside my house and stuff, man. And then you could actually, in the mist, you could see, we took a picture of it. We was taking pictures when the mist came through, and we actually got a picture of it. You could see a face and stuff in it, like the person was carrying something.
That's creepy.
And the creepy thing is, my grandpa actually died killing a deer.
Huh. That's
at the
weird.
same place.
Makes you wonder. That's odd.
Yeah, we got a lot of voices here. Never got his voice, but we did get a few other family members' voices. But the funny thing is, man, there's some things that have ghosts like trapped to an area until like certain things happen. And that there was something that some certain people like left, and then there was never any more activity. Like people moved off where I live. People moved off where like neighbors like moved, and then the activity just like stopped.
That's pretty weird. It's wild.
Yeah, I don't know if they was at peace or what, or they fought. The heck, they could have followed them to where they moved.
Yeah, that stuff like that scares me. I'm afraid of taking something like that home.
Is your house haunted, like where you live, or you don't know?
Not really. We never really seen anything here. We got a double wide trailer sitting where the house used to be that burned down. We just put it here on their land, and we lost a couple of cats in the house fire. Well, one of them I think got out because some of the workers, insurance agents and stuff like that, saw one of the cats out. I never could find it. But the other cat, I'm pretty sure, burned up in the house. And we see that cat walking through the house all the time. It's kind of odd. There's a little tortoiseshell cat and had like the black with brown spots on it. And we'll see her walking around in this house all the time. And then she just like kind of disappears. But our cats that we have now, they will see it too. They take off, like they'll be sleeping on the couch, and they'll see the ghost cat go into another room, and they jump up off the couch to go like follow to see what's going on. So it's weird. It's just, it's a cat.
Yeah. Actually, on a ghost box, when I was ghost hunting and stuff, we actually got a meow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was definitely, it was a cat. It wasn't no person like mimicking a cat or anything. It was an actual cat.
It's freaky.
Yeah. definitely only happened one time. And actually, there was this one guy that we caught on the ghost box that said, "Good drink."
Huh.
No, they
That's
didn't say
weird.
good drink. They said whiskey.
Oh.
Like in that voice, they said whiskey.
That's
I
weird.
don't know. Yeah, it's like in that voice, like, man, I don't know what was going on. I guess they just loved. I guess the spirit just loved whiskey.
The ghosts down at my dad's house, they've all been fairly friendly to us. They seem to be like little pranksters and stuff. They like to knock on doors and windows and stuff and turn the lights off and just little junk like that. But there was one time my sister got attacked by something down there. She was asleep. It woke her up like on top of her, like it was going to choke her or something. And she woke up and was trying to scream and couldn't get it out and everything. And she said like she could see red eyes like up in her face, like staring at her. And she was like struggling to get away and screaming and stuff and couldn't get anything out. And like finally, whatever it was just gave up and kind of just like went up into the ceiling. And she said just like kind of missed like the Colonel Sanders guy just kind of faded away into the ceiling.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
That was the only time any of them ever kind of tried to attack us or anything down there.
It probably wasn't any of them spirits.
Yeah, it could be like a little like a gateway type thing or something. Maybe one just kind of popped in.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
A portal.
Yeah, something like it.
Yeah, man. If you feel like you're being watched, there's a spirit around.
Yeah, it's a freaky feeling.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, man, because you can't see them, but they can see you.
Yeah, not good. We were talking about the residual hauntings. I seen one time around where my aunt used to live at in Nolan, West Virginia. We would go there all the time when I was a kid. And one night we had just came from her house. We were coming back home and it was pouring rain out. And there was a woman standing next to the road in a red raincoat.
Oh, God.
Standing there. And we could see her like from a mile away as we were getting up close and just pouring rain and everything. My dad said, that woman better hurry and get out of the rain. She's going to get drowned out there. And like the closer we got, she just disappeared. And he's like, okay, where'd she go? But I saw that same woman probably about a year ago in the same spot. I was on my way home from taking my dad to church before I went to work one day. And I got to that one part there where we saw that ghost when I was little, 20, 30 years ago. And she was standing there, same deal, wearing a red raincoat, and disappeared when I got up to her.
Wow, man.
I saw her twice.
That's creepy. I know that you and your wife went to the famous place, I believe it's in West Virginia, right? Where without touching your brake, it'll go downhill.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 22 Mine Road. I'd forget about it. That's a scary place there. That is where Mamie Thurman was murdered at. They supposedly just dumped her on the side of the road back in 1923, if my memory is right. And she was just dumped off there. Somebody killed her. And so now when you go on 22 Mine Road, if you park at the bottom of the hill and put your car in neutral, your car will roll backward up the hill, kind of urban legend type thing.
Oh, I gotta tell you a good story. One of my buddies, shout out to the Mountain Mysteries podcast. They're a great podcast. And I had him on. He actually talked about that. And he said that woman is evil. A truck driver, he seen a random truck driver, came up to him, and he was telling him about a story because at that time he worked for a radio station, Mountain Mysteries podcast host did, Chris. And he told Chris that woman is evil. He said he will never go on that road.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't know what. It gets chill. I remember the story. It's gonna give you chills, dude. It's giving me chills right now, thinking about it. She popped up in his car in a semi.
I have heard stories like that she'll just like they'll look over, they think they got somebody riding with them all of a sudden, or somebody sitting next to them. Weird.
Yeah, she went in his rearview mirror and everything. That guy was just like any of us would be. We'd be scared as well.
It's creepy. Wow.
Yeah, dude, I got the chills right now, man. I definitely believe in ghosts, man.
Yeah, it's
How
definitely
far is
real.
that from you, actually?
It's Logan is probably about 30 minutes over in the opposite direction. I'm right in the middle of Logan and Pineville, so I'm about 30 minutes away from either one.
What was So what do you believe happened with that girl in the train in that coat thing? Like had a coat on and stuff. The residual haunting.
Yeah,
Did that girl ever appear in somebody's car or something?
I don't believe so. I've never really heard any other reports of her, any kind of stories or anything. I think it's unless it's probably happened to other people and they just never really said. But only me and my dad who saw her.
Where exactly is that?
Over in Nolan. That is probably about 10 minutes from here, like you're going toward Logan, West Virginia. There used to be a beer joint there back when I was a kid, and they tore it down to build the 4-lane road on 119. But my buddy Kyle thinks that maybe there was something like that the girl was maybe going home from that the beer place, the bar one night, and maybe she got hit by a car or something. She was wearing a red raincoat, and maybe she got hit by a car or maybe a train because it's next to the train track as well. And he kind of theorized that might be what her deal is, that maybe somebody like that. So it could probably be looked into, going to the library and look into some old microfilm and stuff and see if there was ever anybody hit by a car or anything there. Because I would just about guarantee you it would be her.
Yeah. Has he ever had an encounter with the at the mine road?
No, not that I know of. He's never seen any ghosts or anything like that. He saw few UFOs before, but I don't think he's ever seen any ghosts or anything.
Yeah, he's probably happy about that. I don't think I would want to see her either.
Yeah, it's scary stuff to just unknown. You don't really know what, like you said, they could be looking at you right now, and you don't really know that it can kind of mess with you.
Yeah, and they thought that and the people, the truck drivers, thought she was actually real human.
Yeah, it's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, dude, that's insane, bro. That's definitely stay away from 22 miles. Would you ever go back again?
I've thought about it before, but I never have been brave enough to do it because it's just a weird feeling up there. I don't know. Like I can usually, I've had a knack over the years, I guess, from being raised in a haunted house and everything, that I can pretty well tell when a ghost is around. I have like this little sense. I can tell. Like after our fire, I would tell my wife, like we'd be out looking for new houses and stuff, and we'd look at houses and nah, we don't want that one. That's haunted. And she's like, "How do you know?" I see 3 ghosts in there right now. But I've kind of picked that up over the years. But for some reason, that the Mamie Thurman thing, that just really messed with me, and I never really felt that from another spirit or anything before. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely. She can stay at 23 Monroe.
Yeah, let's just leave her there.
Yeah, and
supposedly she is buried right there, but her grave, they never really had a good tombstone for her or anything. So maybe that's what she's mad about. She's buried there somewhere, and her tombstone is gone, so nobody knows where she's buried at for sure.
Wow, dude, that's creepy. And for all the semi-truckers out there, avoid that area.
This portion of In Dark Places is sponsored by the Garden Weasel, the revolutionary 4-in-1 garden tool. Garden Weasel has a tool for just about all of your lawn and garden project needs. Trusted for more than 40 years, our tools are innovative, of great value, easy to use, and durable. In fact, we're so confident in the toughness of our tools that we back them with a lifetime limited warranty. Garden Weasel has been a recognized leader in the design and development of precision specialized tools, committed to innovation and dedicated to delivering exceptional customer service. Please visit gardenweasel.com to locate a dealer near you. Now back to In Dark Places.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Garden Weasel.
I know that you did a Mothman month, if you want to talk about that a little bit. And what is the most appealing evidence of Mothman being real that you feared?
That was a lot of fun doing the Mothman series. I think most of those stories from 1967, those were the most interesting in the old electric building, old electric company place there, where the two guys were riding a motorcycle. They stopped there and saw him like hanging out up at the top of that electrical place. And they went up there to go check it out. It was already shut down and abandoned by that time. So they just walked inside to go check it out. And they could see him up there just kind of walking around like on this little catwalk area. And the floor was crunchy, had glass and stuff on it and everything. They were afraid that it was like a man who was going to fall. So they went up there, you got to get down, dude. And it was Mothman. He had wings and kind of flew out the window then.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of good evidence of Mothman being real and stuff. I mean, Mothman's definitely one of the creepy creatures as well. And this has been a lot of fun, man. And where can people reach you if they want to send you a story to read on the on your podcast, or if they want to be a guest on your podcast? They might have, they might have another. I forgot her name. Mine Road 22. They might have
maybe
a story. Yeah, that creepy woman. They might have a story about her.
Get some more of her stories. Yeah, we're on Facebook, In Dark Places, and downloadable on anywhere podcasts are sold, on iTunes and Spotify and all that junk. And it's free, so it's not really for sale. But we're on there, and you can email us, indarkplacespod@hotmail.com.
Absolutely, man. And your YouTube will be in the description, and so will your Spotify. Definitely want to thank Junebug for doing the crossover episode. And everybody have a great night, and God bless.
I'd like to thank Seth Ambergy for another cool crossover podcast. It was fun, dude. Thanks to my buddy Jimmy Haunted for all the cool things you do to help. And thank you for listening. We'll see you again here next week. God bless you guys. See ya.